quantifiers. These are the words that specify the numeral, the numbers. Something similar to English 2 cups of coffee or a pair of glasses. And we have many such quantifiers. And I'll start with the Japanese numeral and introduce 6 frequently used quantifiers. So by the end of this video, you will hopefully be able to review some numbers and also pick up some of those quantifiers. Okay, let's start with Japanese numeral. You practiced Chinese series 1, 2, 3. But we do have this generic Japanese series. Okay, let's take a look. 1 in Japanese series is 1つ、2つ、3つ、4つ、5つ、6つ、7つ、8つ、9つ、and to. Everything else except for to ends with tsu sound. And how many? The question word is いくつ. You are familiar with おいくつ to ask someone's age, right? So this is the Japanese series. And this is used for general counting, including some abstract things like questions. So if you have 2 questions, you say 質問が2つあります. And also age for small kids, any age under 10, you can use this Japanese series. So next, when you are counting people, you use a Chinese numeral followed by nin, except for 1 person and 2 persons that end with ri. Okay, let's start with 1 person, 1人. 2 is 2人. And Chinese numeral plus nin, 3人, 4人. Instead of 4人 or 死人, 死人 actually means a dead person, so please avoid that. For people will be 4人. And 5人, 6人, 7人. We tend to use 7 instead of 7 because it's easier to say 7人. And 8人, 9人. And we tend to choose 9 instead of 9人, 2 syllable words. And 10人. And for how many? 何人. And so the yellow parts are like irregular counters, numbers, irregular numbers. If you're counting flat objects such as sheets of paper, plates, stamps, both big and small, you use 枚. Okay, 1枚, 2枚, 3枚, 4枚, 5枚, 6枚, 7枚, 8枚, 9枚, and 10枚. The question word, how many plates or how many sheets, will be 何枚. There's a famous classic Japanese ghost story. It's a Halloween season in which female ghost is counting dishes, counting plates. 1枚, 2枚, 3枚. For big machinery or cars and things, 台 is used. There's no exception. There's no irregularity both in numbers and counters. Same as 枚. Okay, so one car would be 1台, 2台, 3台, 4台, 5台, 6台, 7台, 8台, 9台, and 10台. how many would be nandai. No irregularities. That's the beauty of mai and dai. Next, for books, magazines, notebooks, things that are in a book form, use satsu, please. It starts with one irregular one, the number, instead of ichisatsu, we say issatsu, double consonant, S sound, issatsu. 2冊、3冊、4冊、5冊、6冊、7冊, and another irregular one, 8冊. Instead of 8冊, we say 8冊. 9冊. And another one, another irregular one, 10冊. Instead of 10冊, double consonant S, please, 10冊. And how many would be 何冊? Long, slender objects such as pens, pencils, needles, and threads, hon is used. Now, there are lots of irregularities here, both in the number and also the counter, the quantifier part too. So instead of ichi hon, the generic one is hon, but for one slender object, it's ichi, ippon instead of ichi hon. And nihon, sanbon. In this case, the counter, the quantifier has the irregularity. Instead of hon, we say bon. 4本, 5本. And another double irregularity, 6本, 7本, 8本, 9本. And another one, 10本. And even question word is 何本 instead of 何本. So lots of irregularities with this one. Cups and glasses, the irregularity is similar to hon. Okay, one cup or one glass would be 1杯, 2杯, 3杯, 4杯, 5杯, 6杯, 7杯, 8杯, 9杯, and 10杯. Question word, 何杯? As in, 何杯飲みましたか? How many glasses or how many cups did you have? So, this is a summary chart of the numeral that appears in the dialogues. And so the irregularities, are highlighted in yellow for the number part, and blue for the counter, the quantifier part is highlighted in blue. Now, when you use numeral plus counter, please treat it as adverb. What it means is that it modifies the verb instead of the thing itself. So when you say you bought one book, you mention the book first. So you bought a book. In what form? In the form of one. That's what you're saying. 本を一冊買いました. So the numeral plus counter, the classifier, is placed just before the verb. And in between the adverb and the verb, there is no particle, please. Just treat it as an adverbial with the adverbial function. So, ジュースを何本飲みましたか? How many bottles of juice did you drink? Same thing. Answer, 2本飲みました. So I had juice. In what form? In the form of how many? In the form of 2. That's what you're saying. So in between the number and the verb, there is no particle, please. it is not a mistake to say 一冊の本を買いました or 何本のジュースを飲みましたか or something like that. But it sounds unnatural. So this is the more authentic and common word order. You mention the thing first with the proper particle and the number and the verb. So that's the authentic word order. And please do not say 何本を飲みましたか 2本を飲みました Never particle after the number, please. Okay, so when you have two kinds of things that you bought and how many, treat them as two sets. So CD を2枚とペンを3本買いました。So CD を2枚、ペンを3本。Connected with と in between. 2 CDs and 3 pens. Connected with と. And follow this word order, please. And between the whole set, the things that you bought and the verb, there is no particle. CD を2枚とペンを3本買いました。Okay, now for items which do not have any specific counter, the Japanese series tend to be used from 1 to 10, and the Chinese series after that. Kids start using counting everything 1つ2つ3つ and then including their age. Nowadays, small kids say 1歳、2歳、3歳 instead of 1つ2つ3つ but kids slowly learn different kinds of quantifiers little by little. And いくつ is used for question, as in おいくつto ask someone's age. 失礼ですが、おいくつですか And things like chairs. We do have a quantifier for counting chairs, but you can also use いくつ for how many. 椅子がいくつありますか ?4 つあります。おいくつですか ?22 です。21です。Something like that. Okay, so